I can't wait. Let's get this party started. Let me just make sure I'm live on YouTube and get this going. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. I am so excited, and apologies for the confusion earlier. I believe I probably logged in from a different email, but I'm not sure what happened. But either way, Max fixed it. We're good. Everything's good. Okay, cool. Awesome. How's everybody doing today? It's a nice cloudy day out here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the markets are really as flat as they can get right now. So there's nothing really exciting about any specific event currently. Good morning, Carrie. Good morning, Martina. Good morning, Ron. Good morning, Ginny. Lots of girls out here today. That's awesome. I love it. All right. Okay, cool. Let's start with our favorite SPY and the Qs. Hopefully everyone had a great day yesterday and is looking forward to trading today. Just in case you guys have trouble hearing me or can't see my screen, okay, just shoot me a text or just type it in the chat pane, YouTube land, YouTube. I just want to make sure everything's smooth and steady. Lauren says, Lyft is a beautiful gap today. I am looking at it, Lauren, definitely watching it. Okay, so let's start the day with our SPY. And SPY is actually, I mean, it's been one of the weaker sisters, and I'm really watching. It's just playing out this beautiful battle of this trend line right here and this trend line right here. And it's been doing that for quite a while now. So what I'm watching for is a break in either direction. Until we break down or up in either direction, I mean, I don't think I could just specifically be like, okay, this is where we go. So that's my dilemma as far as SPY is concerned. So obviously this is a gap down. It's not really a gap down necessarily because we're not really opening below this wick. We're kind of sort of in the middle somewhere, but I'm hoping for a little bit of a pull up, and then maybe we could come back down, or we could just continue to ride higher. Really, honestly, there's not much along the way in either direction. If we look at the 4 hours, this to me kind of sort of looks like a bear flag. If you can play along with this scenario, where it could continue to do this, or it could just collapse today. Maybe today is the day. And I'll show you what I mean and why I feel like today is the day that we could come down a little bit. If we do come down, I am hoping for a retest of this trend line. So if we pull back down, I think 392 is a realistic target today. So, and then it's got a good range, I mean, if we're at 395 right now, 392 is a pretty decent range. 3 points down, that's pretty easy. And that's quick money too. So that's what I'm looking forward to. If we go up, guys, towards the upside, our options are unlimited. I mean, we could go, quite a bit. There's not much along the way until possibly 402-ish. And then maybe we could see some turbulence, but then we would have broken out of this trend line. So then maybe we break out, come back, retest, and then ride higher. Now, of course, these are 4-hour candles. So, this scenario is going to take it at least 2 or 3 days. So I'm not expecting all of this to happen today, but either way we break out or down, we will have a day trade today. Today is what I like to call a good golden opportunity kind of day if you could be patient. So one of the biggest lessons that I learned, I guess very later on in life of my trading career, sadly, is to never have a trade without a plan. And so this is my plan. We break down, I'm going to write it down to 392. We break higher, I'm going to write it up to 402. This is where I assume the next level of resistance is going to come in. So if I were to draw a line, I could possibly just do something like this. Anywhere between here to 402 is a realistic target. And that's quite a bit of a journey, for SPY to make. So maybe we just continue to go higher on this. Now, we are going to have a lot of people talking today. Some data's coming out at 9:30. So just be patient out there. I think when you try to front run a race and try to guess a direction, that's when you make the worst mistakes. So for example, if I was trying to guess the direction and go, oh, we're definitely going down, and go into a trade here, and then we end up going higher, I'm gonna, wish that I'd gotten in short over here versus here. And that's a solid 6 points up. So I just want to be cautious and wait for my turn, for my signals, and then we could take a short or a long in either direction. So we'll see. If we get down to 392, I think a long is very, very plausible. And I will give you a very good example of that idea from yesterday. So here's the cues from yesterday. And let's look at the cues real quick, and then I'll give you an example of that. So here's the cues. And the cues 4 hours looks kind of like a head and shouldery situation here. So I know you may not be able to see it here very clearly on the 4 hours in the cues, but if you look at it on NQ, it's very visible. This is why I like to look at NQ a lot more than the cues. And undoubtedly, do you guys see this pattern, head and shoulders? I would have liked this to have a much wider retracement, but we did have that retracement. On the hourly, we definitely did. It just doesn't look like it on the 4 hours, but it is there, definitely there. So I like this head and shoulder pattern on the cues. Maybe there is sector rotation happening. The cues closed pretty weak yesterday in comparison. So let's go to the cues real quick and we'll check it out. So on the daily chart, the cues closed pretty weak yesterday compared to SPY and IWM and Dow Jones. So maybe there is a sector rotation happening and there is weakness around this area. Every time we get up there, we tend to sell off. So prime example over here. Get rid of this. So I'm not ultra bearish. I'm not going, oh, the world's collapsing and everyone's going to zero and all the banks are going to zero. No, that's not the idea here. The idea is to not rush into a trade and to not just assume a direction. We are opening extremely low below this candle, so that means there is selling interest currently, and we could write it down to 305, 306 and see what happens over here. If this level doesn't hold, I would assume we come down a little bit deeper to 304. So that's the plan on the cues right now. Let's go look at Lyft for Lauren. Lyft. Lauren, to be honest, I actually forgot about this ticker completely because it's been so beat down ever since these earnings last time. No one's looked at it. No one's mentioned Lyft, and Lyft is known to do wild things in its earnings. This is a gap and go. This is a killer inverse head and shoulders. That is a beautiful inverse head and shoulders. On a weekly chart, I was looking at it on a weekly chart, it also looks like it's got room to go higher. So, I liked the way this is trading. If I was day trading this today, I would definitely take some partials at 1060 or just this 10 EMA right over here. So 1070 is a good target for me, depending on where my entry is. So yeah, beautiful gap and go. I will be watching this for the bull move up, definitely very high up on my list. Now, if this thing opens around 1070, we've got solid 15 minutes before the market's open. And if this thing opens around 1070, then I'd watch for a dip back down and then ride it higher. So that's my plan so far. I'm going to add Lyft to my watch list and I will watch it pretty high up. So bullish is the way to go on Lyft today, and that's what I'll be watching for. Another ticker that I absolutely love today is Win says good morning. Good morning, Win. Another ticker that I absolutely love today is, you guessed it, guys, Nvidia. Nvidia has this beautiful inside candle. So now, it's only up like, I don't know, 800% for the year, and it's pretty darn extended with an inside candle all the way at the top. So I am looking to roll it down. If you look at Nvidia on the 4-hour chart, or even hourly for that matter, it's got this S-curving pattern. You know when things are when tickers have dropped drastically, how do you know they're bottoming? It's when they consolidate at the bottom, right? I'm sure we've all seen this pattern at the bottom somewhere. It's there on Shopify, it's there on Square, it's there on Lyft right now, where they're just consolidating and they're waiting and watching and accumulating, and more buyers are being tempted to come in, and then some news happens and we take off, or the markets kind of push it up, or we get new buyers interest, or the company comes out with something. The same exact way, when things have rode up quite a bit, they tend to S curve around, or create seller interest up top before we come back down. And I've seen this pattern, I mean, all throughout day trading, I've seen this pattern happen all the times, especially on the 5 and the 15 minutes. So when things are about to slow down, you'll get this pattern right here. So what I'm watching for on Nvidia, again, I'm a realist. I'm not, although I would like to trade it bearish, I'm not expecting it to go to zero. So what I'm watching for, honestly, guys, is a long above 270 area and a short below this level right here. So maybe around 263.60. So, there's a lot of support here, and there's a lot of support here. So if we take this guy out to the downside, I think Nvidia could be a pretty fun day trade today. There is the 10 EMA at 260, and then there's nothing until 250. So could be a pretty fun day today on Nvidia, especially if the broader markets can cooperate. So Win says, I'm in on Lyft, it's due to run. Yeah, absolutely. I could see it take off. It is, when I love this inverse head and shoulders that's happening on it, it is breaking out of this bull flag. So it's got a lot of bullish catalysts to it. So ideally, when a bull flag breaks out, this is how much it can go higher, according to the rules of a bull flag pattern. So, I would totally see it go up another 840 to maybe 1040. So another $2 easy from here to another $2, easy money. Absolutely. And I like that. It's approved by me for sure. So just don't get scared out of your position if we dip a little bit and come back and retest this area of 10. Now, under no circumstances would I have my stop anywhere, I wouldn't want it to dip anywhere below this level. So 970 is where my absolute stop should be, or would be, because then it would prove to be a false breakout, and then we could go down. So yeah. How do you like Netflix at a resistance with a doji candle? Jose, oh my goodness. Oh, Netflix is like giving me bear dreams right now. It is so good. Dan shorted Netflix yesterday, and I tried to join the party, but I just couldn't. I was too late. I was watching it all day yesterday. So I actually had an alert on Netflix right here. We came fairly close to it. And this is my level to go short off of Netflix, especially if we've had 3 or 4 green days in a row with large volume. It's due for a pullback. So 100% love it. Now, Jose, I'm not going to be the one that goes, oh, if we break below this, then we go lower. No, I would want my entry a little bit higher. So what I'm going to do is plan out a trade on the 4 hours or maybe the hourly, and see if we can find a good entry on it. Let's see hourly real quick. But yes, I'm not going bearish by any means. I'm not going bullish by any means, is what I mean. Bearish is the way to go on Netflix. It's extended to the bull side quite a bit, and it's got eternal resistance right here on the daily, weekly, all of it. So if I had to pick, I would say maybe entry around here around 327, 328, and then write it down to maybe this level right here around 316 is, I mean, and it could be done today. You know, we could have 316, 317 today. Netflix can move $10 easily. So that's my plan on it for sure before it bounces again. So yes, I like Netflix in the bearish direction a lot more. Let's scoot Netflix up too a little bit. And we'll move Nvidia up as well. All right, cool. Wool says Baba is a cute gap up. Yes, Baba with news today that they're looking to separate their entire company into 6 different tickers and 6 different products, and they could all go public and generate more I guess wealth that way, more capital that way. And yes, it is a beautiful gap up. This is a lot of bears trapped. So now the way I would trade Baba is I would wait and watch and see which direction it picks. I would wait for a dip to come back down to go higher. I mean, this is excellent news for any company. You know, when you can create more capital, that's amazing. And we're gapping up above all of this resistance. That's awesome. I mean, you can't go wrong with a sticker going long today. Although today's gap up is quite a bit of a gap up. So we want to see a little bit of a dip come in. So maybe around 93, if there is opportunity to go long, I think that's where I would go long, right at open. And if it takes off right at open, then just let it play out. So be patient with this guy. I don't know if the buyers here are going to be patient and say, well, I'm not going to be buying right away. Or if the sellers here are going to be like, well, I need to get out of my shorts on Baba. So I don't know which direction this heads in right at open. And whichever direction it heads in, long is the way to go on this guy. So, you know, if it dips a little bit, long is the way to go. And if it takes off, wait for that pullback to this level again, and then long is the way to go. But regardless, I'm not looking to short Baba by any means. That's not happening. That's going to be a lot of bear squeezing momentum in there. I mean, look at this weekly chart. This is just insane-o. That's a lot of bears trapped, by the way. And it's not just the last couple of weeks. I mean, look at this. All of these bears are somehow, somewhere going to get out. If you're in this for a swing trade, this is where I would target the next partial. You know, 120 is a good level of resistance, but I think we go higher than 120 eventually. So great news. Baba is a phenomenal company. I mean, we all know how it makes money. It's not just okay. I don't want to diss some of the meme tickers, but we all know how this company makes money. It is a profitable company. The reason why I haven't touched it and the reason why I haven't accumulated any position on it is because Asian tickers were just in general suffering a lot. And I was not interested in playing this volatility. So that's why I have no positions on Baba long-term hold. That's what I mean. But yeah, for a day trade, I think I want to trade it bullish. Bullish is the way to go. Wait for that dip and then go long. That's the way I would want to play it. So we'll scoot Baba up a little bit too. Do you guys notice how everything's scooting up slightly above Tesla now? I mean, I'm telling you guys, I've seriously considered, you know, not being trapped by Tesla all the times. There was a time when Tesla was the only ticker I traded. So yeah, we have this joke in real life trading where everyone just kind of assumes I've broken up with Tesla. So yeah. What do you think about Apple gapping below the recent consolidation? Let's go look at Apple real quick. Check it out. So Apple, I am truly, genuinely hoping that this isn't a false breakout on Apple, because if it is a false breakout, so, you know, beyond this inverse head and shoulders, we broke out. There's this neckline on Apple, and we broke out of that. If for whatever reason we start getting closes below this neckline, under the 10 EMA and the 20, Apple's going to have the toughest time getting back up again. So, I mean, I could totally see it pull back in a really quick momentum. something like this. So if I had an option, I mean, if you really, really held me a gunpoint and said Apple's the only ticker you could trade today, I still wouldn't do it. I just wouldn't do it because it's gapping down into a lot of support right here. So, if I were to just draw a line here, it's gapping down into the neckline currently. It is also gapping down into the double bottom. But the fact that this is a breakout with low volume, decreasing volume, and increasing bears stepping in, and we're not going higher, kind of makes me worried about this, and makes me feel like this is a false breakout in that situation. So just because of that, I feel like I want to be a little bit more cautious with Apple today, at least. Leave this ticker alone today. There's a lot of support here, but then there's a lot of weakness up here. So I don't know if the bulls are going to win in this battle or the bears. And I think Apple's just going to go with the overall market. Whichever way the market decides to go, Apple's going to roll. Or more like the market's going to do what Apple's doing. But really, I mean, I can't tell you which direction just by looking at this chart. It looks extremely bullish, but it also looks a little bit trappy. If you look at this for the past couple of days, I mean, there's been a lot more green than red. This is where I could see a lot more red, but this is a lot more green than red. And if we start dipping, this profit taking is going to start really, really quickly. So you just want to be careful with Apple and see who's trapped in this scenario. If I were to be honest, I think the bulls would be trapped if we pull back versus the bears being trapped. So that's just my perspective on Apple. Got lots of comments. Let's see. Win says I'm a big buyer on Tesla at 100. Yes, Tesla at 100 is amazing. Good morning, Dan. Thank you so much. Let's go look at Tesla real quick now that we're talking about Tesla. Just to get it out of the way. Tesla is not looking bad, but it's just there's not anything super exciting about Tesla right now. Let's look at some larger term SMAs. Let's see if there's anything. It's above majority of the moving averages. There is the 200 right here, but I don't know, guys. I just have a hard time believing that Tesla's just going to continue up and go to 220 and then find resistance. It could, not that it doesn't have to. It could. YouTube land, unfortunately, this is where I have to say goodbye to you. But if you want to give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe, leave a comment, tell us how we're doing, tell us what tickers you want to take a look at. I would love to look at tickers for you. I will be back again next Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it.